Picture this. You wake up one morning and the world you knew yesterday has changed overnight. The power's been out for 3 days, the grocery stores are empty, and your neighbors are starting to panic. But you're calm because you saw this coming, and you prepared. My new book, Before It All Falls Apart, the emergency prep manual for the real world, just hit Amazon. And this isn't another scary survival book that makes you want to hide in a bunker. This is 495 pages of real-world wisdom that makes your life better every single day, while building the kind of strength that lets you sleep peacefully at night, knowing you can handle whatever gets thrown at you. I want you to grab a copy today because what I'm sharing with you comes from years of watching what actually happens when normal life gets disrupted. And it all comes down to having the right knowledge and taking the right steps before you need them. The link to get your copy is right there in the description and pinned in the comments. And by the time I finish showing you what's inside this book, you'll understand why this isn't just another how-to guide, but a complete game plan for building unshakable confidence in an uncertain world. Let me tell you about the most important concept in this entire book, something I call the 2-week sweet spot. And this one idea will completely change how you think about being ready for anything, because instead of trying to prepare for every possible disaster, we focus on the time frame that covers most real emergencies that happen to real families. When that massive storm hit Texas a few years back, it wasn't some apocalypse movie situation. It was just regular families trying to keep their kids warm and fed when the basic systems they counted on every day suddenly stopped working. And most households were in serious trouble within 48 hours because they never thought about having basics on hand. The 2-week buffer isn't about eating weird military food or turning your house into a camping trip. It's about having enough of the stuff you already use so that when disruptions happen, your family maintains normal comfort, cleanliness, nutrition, and safety while everyone else is panicking and fighting over the last loaf of bread at the store. Think about water first, because your body can only survive about 3 days without it. And I show you exactly how to store it, starting with simple containers you can buy at any store, building up to bigger systems, but always remembering that magic number of 1 gallon per person per day. And we're not just storing it and forgetting about it. We're learning simple ways to keep it fresh, clean it if it gets dirty, and make any water safe to drink using everything from basic household bleach to gravity filters that work without electricity. Food becomes the heart of family morale, focusing on stuff your family actually enjoys eating that happens to last a long time on shelves. And I teach you how to build a pantry that becomes part of your normal cooking so nothing goes bad. Plus meal plans that work when your stove and refrigerator aren't available but still taste like real food, because keeping spirits up matters just as much as keeping bellies full when stress levels are already high. Power backup starts simple with reliable flashlights and ways to keep your phone charged, then builds up to generators and solar systems. But safety always comes first, because a generator that fills your house with deadly carbon monoxide isn't solving any problems. Your vehicle transforms into a mobile survival kit with water, food, medical supplies, warm clothes, basic tools, paper maps for when GPS stops working, and everything adjusted for your specific region, because preparing for Minnesota blizzards looks totally different than getting ready for Florida hurricanes. Water represents the absolute foundation of human survival. And once you understand how quickly everything falls apart when you can't get clean water, you'll never look at that kitchen faucet the same way again. Which is why we build comprehensive water security that works whether you live in a tiny apartment or on a big piece of land. Storage gets creative when space is tight. We're talking about sliding containers under beds, using stackable water blocks that fit anywhere, turning closet corners into water reserves, and even furniture that secretly holds water. And for people with more room, we scale up to those big barrels, tank systems, and dedicated storage areas, but always following basic rules like keeping water away from sunlight and heat, spreading it around your house so you don't lose everything at once, and tracking when you stored it so you can keep it fresh. Rainwater collection becomes exciting when you do the math. Even a small roof can collect thousands of gallons during a good storm, and I walk you through everything from basic rain barrel setups that anyone can install in a weekend afternoon, all the way up to sophisticated systems with multiple barrels. Automatic filters that dump the dirty first water, and pumps that give you real water pressure throughout your house, just like city water. Cleaning contaminated water gets detailed, because knowing the difference between filtering out dirt, killing germs with chemicals, zapping bacteria with UV light, and good old boiling could save your family's life. And I recommend specific products like gravity filters that work without power. portable filters that clean thousands of gallons, emergency tablets for quick treatment, and how to use regular household bleach safely because yes, that bottle under your kitchen sink can make water safe to drink when you know the right amounts. Conserving water becomes crucial when supplies run low, and I teach you techniques like taking lightning-fast showers, washing hands with spray bottles instead of running faucets, being strategic about toilet flushing, washing dishes in basins instead of under running water, and even hand-washing clothes that actually gets them cleaner than you'd expect. Food security goes way beyond just cramming cans into your basement, and the approach I teach focuses on building food systems that keep your family well-fed and happy during tough times using foods they actually want to eat. Because there's no point in preparing meals that'll make your kids revolt when stress levels are already through the roof. The strategic pantry centers on basic building blocks like rice, pasta, and grains that last forever, and work in countless different meals, beans and lentils that give you protein and make you feel full, canned meat and fish that don't need refrigeration, cooking oils and fats that add calories and make everything taste better, and spices and seasonings that transform boring basic ingredients into meals people actually look forward to eating instead of just choking down. Storage tricks for small spaces get really creative because not everyone has a walk-in pantry. We're using space under beds, above kitchen cabinets, behind books on shelves, and furniture with hidden compartments, plus ways to repackage big bags into containers that stack nicely, and choosing foods that pack the most nutrition into the smallest space. Nutrition stays simple without needing complicated charts or math. We focus on making sure you have proteins, carbohydrates, healthy fats, and fruits and vegetables. Getting variety instead of worrying about exact percentages. Handling specific concerns like vitamin C and calcium by picking the right foods. And using vitamins as backup insurance instead of the main source of nutrition. Rotation systems keep food from spoiling by using the simple rule of eat what you store and store what you eat first in first out like grocery stores do. Clear dates on everything, regular checks of what you have, and making your emergency food part of your normal cooking routine so nothing sits around getting stale or going bad. Food preservation becomes something anyone can master, starting with easy techniques like drying food in electric dehydrators or even your regular oven, canning high-acid foods like tomatoes and fruit using basic equipment, freezing things properly so they don't get freezer burn, and traditional methods like fermenting vegetables into sauerkraut and kimchi that actually become more nutritious while they last longer. Medical preparedness becomes absolutely critical because, well, health problems escalate fast when you can't just call 911 or drive to the emergency room. The difference between having the right supplies and knowledge versus being caught empty-handed can literally mean the difference between life and death for someone you love. Now, medical kit development follows a smart, layered approach. It starts with basic first aid, handling cuts, scrapes, burns, and common illnesses using bandages, antiseptics, pain relievers, and fever reducers. Then, you build up to serious care supplies like special gauze that stops heavy bleeding, splints for broken bones, blood pressure cuffs, rehydration packets for severe dehydration, dental supplies for tooth emergencies, stockpiled prescription medicines stored properly, and protective gear for when contagious diseases spread through communities. Medicine management becomes crucial when pharmacies close or delivery trucks stop running. I'll show you how to work with your doctor to build medical reserves by being honest about wanting to be prepared, getting 90-day prescriptions instead of 30-day supplies using mail-order pharmacies that often provide larger quantities, storing medicines correctly so they last longer, and learning about natural alternatives like willow bark for pain, ginger for nausea, garlic for infections, and honey for wound care that people have used successfully for centuries. Life-saving skills represent knowledge every family member should have, starting with Stop the Bleed training that teaches proper pressure on wounds, packing bleeding wounds, and using tourniquets. CPR and basic life support can restart hearts and restore breathing. Proper wound care prevents cuts from becoming dangerous infections. Splinting techniques for broken bones and recognizing serious emergencies like heart attacks, strokes, diabetic problems, severe allergic reactions, and heat or cold injuries that require immediate action. Mental health during extended stress often gets overlooked, but determines how well families handle everything else. We'll cover normal ways people react to crisis and strategies for building psychological toughness by maintaining normal routines that provide stability, stress management techniques that actually work under pressure, assembling comfort kits with items that help people feel better, and ensuring everyone has quiet private spaces where they can decompress when emotions run high. Power outages affect every aspect of modern life, and having reliable backup power becomes essential not just for comfort, but for safety, communication, and keeping critical systems running during extended blackouts. These seem to happen more frequently as our electrical grid gets older and more unstable. Energy assessment starts with figuring out what really needs power during outages. It's about separating life and death critical equipment like medical devices and communication tools from nice-to-have conveniences like refrigeration and lighting, measuring how much power different appliances actually use so you size backup systems correctly, and looking for non-electric alternatives that often work better and cost less than you'd expect. Generator selection covers everything from basic portable generators that provide serious power for reasonable money to sophisticated inverter generators that deliver clean electricity for sensitive electronics. Automatic backup generators start themselves when grid power fails, and multi-fuel generators run on gasoline, propane, or natural gas for maximum flexibility. You need to consider how much power you actually need, how long they run on a tank of fuel, how loud they are so you don't create conflicts with neighbors, and how reliable they are when you absolutely need them. Solar systems scale to any budget, starting with small portable chargers for phones and tablets, moving up to medium power stations that can run essential appliances for days. Larger systems you can build yourself for greater capacity and flexibility, and whole house systems connected to the power grid with battery backup. It's important to understand key factors like where to position solar panels for maximum sun exposure, choosing between different battery technologies, planning realistically for how much power you'll actually generate, and what maintenance keeps systems producing reliable power for decades. Battery solutions provide the energy storage that makes everything else work, from small USB power banks that keep communication devices charged to whole house battery systems that can power everything during outages. You'll need to follow important principles for battery performance, like sizing them correctly for your actual needs, understanding how deeply you can discharge them without causing damage, and regular maintenance to catch problems before they become expensive failures. Your home serves as command headquarters for everything else we've discussed, and enhancing its security and functionality during emergencies means strengthening your position without advertising that you have valuable supplies worth stealing from desperate people. Vulnerability assessment starts with systematically examining security and structural weaknesses, beginning with doors and windows. Upgrading strike plates, installing solid doors, adding quality deadbolts, and reinforcing door frames can dramatically improve security for relatively little money. Window security balances protection with visibility through better locks and glass protection. Strategic lighting discourages criminal activity while keeping your family safe, and protecting utility connections from both weather events and people who might try to tamper with them. Smart security uses layered protection that makes your home safer without making it obvious you're prepared for emergencies. You can use landscaping to create natural boundaries that guide foot traffic where you want it, plants that create barriers without looking like military fortifications, lighting that serves double purposes for safety and security, upgrading door hardware that looks normal but provides exceptional security, high-quality locks that resist picking and bumping techniques, and technology like video doorbells and discrete cameras that provide situational awareness without making your home look like a fortress. Alternative heating becomes critical during cold weather utility failures. We'll cover wood heating options from traditional stoves to fireplace inserts, understanding crucial safety requirements like proper ventilation and carbon monoxide detection that prevent families from dying while trying to stay warm, propane and kerosene heating systems with their specific safety protocols, and solutions for apartments like alcohol-burning fireplaces, electric heaters with battery backup, and passive solar heating techniques. Cooling strategies for extreme heat events save lives when air conditioning fails during power outages. You can use passive cooling methods that don't need electricity, like managing airflow through your house, cooling the building at night when temperatures drop, reducing heat from sunlight through strategic shading, tactical cooling with limited power through smart fan placement and battery-powered options, plus personal cooling approaches and heat illness prevention that keep family members safe when conventional cooling systems collapse. Transportation capability really determines whether you successfully navigate challenges or end up trapped in dangerous situations. You need to be prepared for both maintaining local mobility within your area And for those potential evacuation scenarios when staying put just becomes more risky than leaving for safer locations. Vehicle preparation, well, it goes way beyond just keeping gas in the tank. It extends to reliability improvements through comprehensive maintenance schedules that catch problems before they strand you at the worst possible time. Battery management systems are important too, making sure you've got starting power even in extreme weather conditions. And don't forget about tire condition monitoring. That's what helps prevent dangerous blowouts during critical travel. Fluid system maintenance is another big one, keeping your engines, transmissions, and brake systems functioning when you absolutely need them to work. Alternative transportation gives you backup options when vehicles just aren't available. That includes human-powered alternatives like bicycles, which work no matter what's going on with fuel. Electric assist bikes are pretty handy too, since they extend your range and capability. Walking ability is something you can always rely on, as long as you've got good footwear and keep up your physical fitness. Plus, there are intermediate options like small motorcycles and scooters. They use minimal fuel while still giving you excellent mobility. Evacuation strategy. Now that requires clear decision-making frameworks and triggers so families can figure out when to leave versus when to shelter in place. You'll want destination selection that includes primary and backup locations, ideally with family or friends willing to take you in. Detailed route planning is key. Think main routes, alternate paths, and having paper maps that work when GPS systems fail. Route familiarity is developed through practice drives, which help reveal potential problems before emergencies ever happen. And don't overlook resource management, including pre-packed departure bags to speed up evacuation and home security procedures you should follow before leaving. Family reconnection is about having protocols for getting back together when emergencies separate family members at work, school, or during travel. That covers the basics, like designated meeting places everyone knows, communication chains that make sure messages get through even if some systems aren't working, and timing frameworks to coordinate reunion efforts. Financial preparedness represents one of the most overlooked aspects of comprehensive readiness. Yet, economic disruption can devastate your ability to handle challenges just as severely as any physical disaster, making financial strength absolutely critical for maintaining your family's stability during uncertain times. Now, economic disruption navigation starts with building real emergency funds that go beyond the standard financial advice of 3 to 6 months of expenses. We're talking about scaling up to 12 months or more for comprehensive protection. This includes different levels of accessibility, like immediate cash for short-term emergencies, insured bank accounts for medium-term stability, and longer-term investments that provide security while generating reasonable returns. Strategic debt management becomes crucial because debt payments continue even when income disappears completely. So focus on eliminating high-interest consumer debt that becomes absolutely devastating during a financial crisis, and understand which debts to prioritize when money becomes scarce. Income diversification protects against job loss by developing secondary employment opportunities, side activities that generate income independent of your primary job, passive income streams that continue producing money even when you can't actively work, and understanding which skills remain valuable during various types of economic stress. Alternative transaction methods become essential when conventional payment systems fail, starting with physical cash as a universal backup that works when credit cards and digital payments don't function. Think about physical value alternatives like precious metals that maintain worth when paper currency fluctuates wildly, tradable goods like coffee, alcohol, and tools that people want regardless of economic conditions, and community exchange networks that operate independently of broader economic systems. Resource acquisition beyond money develops capabilities for obtaining what your family needs when normal monetary transactions become limited. This includes self-production capabilities for food, water, and energy, resource-sharing systems like tool libraries and cooperatives, and knowledge acquisition that represents perhaps the highest value resource because skills can't be stolen and remain valuable regardless of economic conditions. Community connections represent the ultimate preparedness force multiplier because individual preparation, no matter how thorough and well-planned, has significant limitations when facing major challenges. These challenges require coordinated response and mutual support that no single family can provide completely on their own. Building secure networks requires balancing community connections with legitimate security concerns through strategic relationship development. This involves progressive disclosure that reveals your preparedness capabilities gradually over time, interest-based connections that form around shared activities rather than preparedness specifically, and value-driven engagement that attracts compatible people while naturally screening out potential problems. Network development includes geographic community building that strengthens relationships with immediate neighbors who share physical proximity and mutual interests, capability-based networks that connect people with complementary skills and resources, and operational security through information compartmentalization that protects sensitive details while still enabling meaningful cooperation. Neighborhood resource mapping helps you understand your community's existing capabilities and vulnerabilities through structured assessment processes. This evaluates physical infrastructure, human resource inventory that identifies valuable skills and experience within your immediate community, material resource cataloging that documents available tools and equipment, and gap analysis that reveals where your community lacks critical capabilities during prolonged disruptions. Effective mutual aid systems bridge the gap between theoretical capability and practical implementation through organizational clarity that defines roles and responsibilities, reciprocity principles that ensure fair exchange of resources and services, and scalable design that works efficiently for small groups while expanding for larger community responses. Plus, practical applications like skill exchanges, tool sharing that maximizes resource utilization, food system collaboration including community gardens and bulk purchasing, and care networks that support vulnerable community members, including elderly residents, young families, and people with special needs. Integration of preparedness into everyday life represents the ultimate strategic objective because resilience that only exists during emergencies creates ongoing stress and disruption. True resilience, on the other hand, enhances daily living and provides measurable benefits whether you ever face a serious crisis or not, making preparation a positive force that improves your family's quality of life rather than creating anxiety and expense. Daily integration requires dual-purpose approaches that provide immediate everyday benefits alongside emergency readiness. This includes food systems where gardening provides fresh produce and stress relief while building long-term food security, cooking skills that create family bonding opportunities while developing the capability to prepare nutritious meals without modern conveniences, and preservation techniques that reduce food waste and save money while extending storage life. Energy integration includes solar installations that reduce monthly utility costs while providing emergency power during outages, energy-efficient appliances that cut operating expenses while reducing power demands during backup operation, and multiple heating options that provide comfort choices during normal times while ensuring warmth when primary systems fail. Water integration covers rainwater harvesting systems that reduce water bills while providing emergency supply, high-efficiency fixtures that conserve resources while maintaining comfort, water purification systems that improve daily water quality while ensuring safety during contamination events, and gray water systems that reduce waste while supporting garden productivity. Testing systems without disrupting normal household operations requires systematic approaches through planned simulation exercises that uncover weaknesses before real emergencies occur, targeted testing that validates specific capabilities, graduated challenge simulations, comprehensive scenario-based testing, including winter storm simulations and medical emergency response drills, plus structured feedback collection that captures lessons learned and identifies specific improvements needed to strengthen overall family resilience. What we've covered today represents just a taste of the comprehensive, field-tested wisdom packed into these 495 pages. And I want you to understand this isn't about living in fear or turning your family into paranoid survivalists. This is about building strategic advantages, enhanced self-reliance, and genuinely improved quality of life, because when you're properly prepared for disruptions, you stop worrying about what might happen and start confidently thriving, regardless of what circumstances develop around you. This book walks you step by step through every critical aspect of practical preparedness, from foundational 2-week buffers that handle common emergencies all the way up to comprehensive resilience that transforms your family into a beacon of stability and strength in your community. Every single strategy is designed to improve your daily life while building preparedness capabilities that actually function when you need them most. This isn't theoretical survival fantasy. This is practical intelligence tested by real families facing real challenges. written by someone who understands that preparedness must integrate seamlessly with actual life, including real budgets, space limitations, and family dynamics that don't always cooperate with perfect plans. The difference between families who are prepared and families who remain vulnerable isn't about having lots of money or special skills. It's about having the right information, following the right approach, and developing the right mindset that transforms potential challenges into opportunities to demonstrate your family's strength and capability. This book provides all of that and significantly more, including implementation timelines designed for busy families, budget strategies that won't strain your finances, space solutions that work whether you live in apartments or houses, and family involvement strategies that build unity and confidence instead of fear. Because the ultimate goal isn't just surviving whatever comes next. It's thriving together as a strong, capable, self-reliant family unit, regardless of what external circumstances develop. I want you to click that link in the description or the pinned comment right now and secure your copy of Before It All Falls Apart, the emergency prep manual for the real world. Because every single day you delay taking action is another day your family remains unnecessarily vulnerable to easily manageable disruptions. More importantly, every day you wait is another day you're missing out on the deep peace of mind, increased confidence, and genuine security that comes from knowing you're strategically prepared and positioned for whatever challenges or opportunities come next.